Well, today here on the Rural Radio Network podcast, we're sitting down with the folks from Western Irrigation, talk all about irrigation practices and the history of their company. I've got Randy Wildeman along with Cole Swedenburg joining me for today's discussion. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Either one of you been on a podcast before like this?
Been on one time.
All right.
I think it went okay, so we'll try it again.
You're not new to the space. How about you, Randy?
No, I have not. First time.
Well, let's have some fun. I want to go back in time a little bit, talk about the history of irrigation in kind of modern society of growing row crops. Was the first irrigation practice out there, was it flood irrigation, or is there something before that?
Well, for the most part around here, it was flood irrigation. It's always been a good way to do things, but the biggest concern with it was water conservation. Then the pivot came around, and that was a game changer, especially here in Nebraska. Yep. Able to pick up most of your acres and evenly distribute the water on there. Everybody's always looking to save water, and an easier way to get around and irrigate. And then once drip entered the picture, it was a game changer as well. There's a lot of fields around here that a pivot just won't work, whether it's a crick area, with odd shaped fields, different length of rows. A pivot just can't make the swing around there. So some of the first pioneers that got out there and tried the drip, they've really made it work, and saves a lot more water versus the gravity in the pivot. And the time savings alone is worth the investment. So not only are you putting the water right where you need to in the root zone, you're getting every acre of it, and your time savings is massive.
When, give me a timeline. When did Subsurface kind of start?
It's funny. So here at the show, we've actually had some customers come through, and they're some of the early ones, and they have systems pushing 25 years
Really?
At this point.
Okay.
Yep. Someone just came through the other day, and they said, well, we go out there, do our spring maintenance, and we're digging up the tape, any leak we might find, and that tape looks like it got put in yesterday, and that's great to hear. The water quality is going to be a big issue, and your annual maintenance with the system. So the guys that took care of it, they've had great results. And with the initial cost, it is a little higher than a pivot, but the payback on the drip is massive as well. I mean, we're telling guys, with your increase in yields, your time savings, you do the math on it, and they're probably getting paid back on these systems within a decade.
So, Randy, it is still fairly new technology to agriculture, subsurface drip irrigation, right?
Yeah, it is, and as Cole was saying, that it went from flood to pivot, and it's getting to the phase right now to where we're even replacing pivots with the drip irrigation because of the conservation of it. And then I believe that they feel like they get better yields and are able to cover all the ground, so it pays off, and they're seeing that now that it's been out there long enough. People or know that it works now, and they're more comfortable with it. So I think down the road we're going to see a lot more of that.
Mm-hmm. How long has Western Irrigation been around?
Western Irrigation started in the early 80s. It was incorporated in the 1995 probably, about then. I come to work for them in 2002. Shortly after that, I met Cole. We was working with him and his family on a business they had doing subsurface drip irrigation. So, put that all together. I guess me and Cole have known each other for 22, 24 years already. So
we have about 50 years of combined experience together. I came around and got involved in this before I even knew what it was. So I'd be out at this farm show with him and some of the other guys, and it was new to everybody. I remember the first time out on the job site, we plowed that tape in, and I still wasn't convinced of what we were really doing. So I started from that point on, and throughout the years, the business just kind of grew, and people were having a lot of success with it. So it's been pretty awesome to see. Most of our customers that have put in one system have done many after the fact. Mm-hmm. So we got guys, we're even doing one this fall. I think he's on his 6th install. He's around 1,000 acres already. So that alone just tells you what people think of it, all the success they've had with it, and they know that the payback's going to get to them, so they're happy to do it again.
We're, of course, talking in the context of row crop agriculture across the High Plains, the area you guys serve, but what are some other applications for subsurface drip irrigation that might not come to mind immediately?
I mean, we're already using it on cotton and row crops. You can use it on alfalfa. Maintenance is a little bit more to the maintenance on
Sure.
with alfalfa. I mean, it's probably I don't know. They use it on almost all the vegetables and anything. So I mean, they can use it a lot.
You see it in residential areas at all?
Yeah, we have. It's probably due to the maintenance and stuff like that.
Not the best application.
It's not a good idea. I don't think
people will throw it out on their garden though. So you can custom fit this. They make garden kits. You can get as small as you want with this.
Yeah.
Got to make sure that your drip line's all filtered. Take care of it that way, and just make sure there isn't any clogging getting into the tape itself, that starts plugging up so it can't release the water. But it works on about everything. I mean, from coast to coast, this is on fruits and vegetables. Here, the main thing is going to be soybeans and corn, and guys have, incredible results with it. One of the bigger keys to it, they can put on their fertilizer with it, and they can do that all throughout the season. So, anytime they need to spoon feed some nitrogen right to the roots, they're able to do so no matter what stage of the season the crop's in. So that's a key point to it, and they're going to see a big boost in the yield. So heck of a return on that.
And they save on their fertilizer. They don't have to put as much on because it's getting applied right to the root zone. So
no evaporation with this, right? So it's putting it right where it needs to be. The crop's taking it right when it needs it. So you don't have to worry about, if you're fertilizing, you're trying to do it with a pivot. The wind blows every damn day here in Nebraska, 30 miles an hour during the summer. So that's
when you're lucky. And you get a 100-mile-an-hour wind and you got a mess on your hands.
Absolutely. I mean, that's another point we haven't brought up. The insurance on this, it can be zero. It's, a lot of your investment's going to sit right at the well or your water source, where you're going to have your filtration, maybe some of your valves to your zones or your watering sections, we call them. But that's minimal as far as the insurance side of that. When this is all complete and our sand media filters are full of water, they weigh over a ton a piece. So there's nothing but a tornado ripping through that would tear that down. So you can get by without insurance on that, and that's going to save you thousands of dollars, over the years.
Especially in this day and age, getting insuring a pivot is becoming a challenge in Nebraska.
Almost impossible anymore.
It is.
Nobody wants to insure a pivot.
And
that's the wind here.
That's right, and that's why people are going away from them. We got guys waiting on the list. They said next time the storm blows a pivot over, it's not getting put back up. They have drip fields. They know what they can do with them, and they're gonna convert those pivot acres to drip.
Let's go back to the basics for me and talk installation. How deep in the ground is subsurface drip irrigation?
So on a typical system, we're going to bury that tape around the 15-inch average. Depending on soil type, there will be a couple things that'll make that vary, but on average, you can figure it's 14, 16 inches, somewhere in there. We plow that in with a 4 or 5 row shank plow, and we come out, we do all that. The farmer is only responsible to have a tractor. They can get one and rent through us. But they don't need to be there for any part of the installation. If they're busy, they're tied up with harvest. As long as they have their field ready to go, we can come out there, have our own operators, our own crew from in-house, load all the tape reels. We'll get that all plowed in. It's important to pack these lines after we put them in. So field prep, you usually need to rip the field a couple different directions. That'll kind of grind the ground up really well, so that when we come through with our implement, the dirt will just kind of fall back in there and settle around it, makes good contact to the tape, so that, keep rodents out of there, because that can be an issue in the future. But we'll have you pack the lines just to keep them out of there. And from there, we come in, lay the pipe, do all the trenching, all of our own equipment. So if you're away for a week or so, you might come back and we'll be done with the system, turnkey, ready for you to go.
And our crew is well experienced. We've had the same crew for many, many years, I guess.
Some of them have been there 20 years, about like we have. So got a lot of guys. Right, well, tell me about it.
Sorry to say.
No, but everyone knows what they're doing. Got a good service crew, so I handle a lot of the sales here in Nebraska and service side as well. And we've got a pretty quick turnaround as far as you give us a call and you need something. We're there as quick as we can be.
30-inch rows? What's your spacing?
Yeah, so that varies as well. Everything's getting closer together. Guys, whether you're drilling soybeans or even going to 20-inch rows, 30 inches on the tape is becoming more common. We do a lot at 40 inch as well, and 60 inches is still an option. It just depends on the farmer and what their practice is. But we'll guide them in the right direction. Take kind of their input, see what they want to do, what kind of yields they really want, and they can go as far with that as they really want to.
So soils will take a role in on the spacing as well. If it's sandy or a little bit sandier than the ground, then we will need to go 30s or 40s on it.
In the tape, how does it let the water out? Is it every few inches, or is it continuous? How's that work?
So every design's usually a little bit different. No project is exactly alike. So depending on the soil type and the spacing that we do put the tape, the emitters that actually let out the water, they're going to be spaced anywhere from 12 to 24 inches on the average. So depending on how much water you want to put on, there's so many things you can do with that. You can tell us, well, I'd like to water those 30 acres in 12 hours and put an inch on. Can we do that? And I'll say, absolutely we can. Guys that want to put it on a little slower, we can make those adjustments. We always take their input and make them feel like it's personalized because it is theirs. And, it's going to be an investment that they're going to be with for hopefully 30, 40, 50 years.
What kind of stuff have you hit in the fields trying to install this?
All sorts of stuff. So
I imagine.
You can't imagine the things that you do come up with. When we're burying the PVC line, that's typically 4 to 5 feet down, and there are things that we come into that our machine can't go through, and we say, hey, what is this? You've owned the farm for 40 years, and they say, well, we've never dug anything like that up. So we do our best to get it out. But anyway, you'll find artifacts, all sorts of crazy things. So just kind of got to watch what you're getting into.
Going back in time, digging old horseshoes out of the ground, all sorts of.
It actually happens.
I believe you. What do you enjoy about the business?
Well, for me, it's just the repeat customers. That's what this is all about. Guys can put their money anywhere. It's best for a producer to look at something that's going to give them a return on the investment. Anybody can go out and buy a new truck, and that's just going to deteriorate and depreciate over the years. And this is something where each year, due to their increase in yields, they're going to get a higher rate of return, and that's year after year. Especially when guys, early on, no one knew if this was going to last for 10, 15, hopefully 20 years, but we're already beyond that. So now we're thinking, well, hopefully that's maybe the half-life or not even, 40 to 50 years would be awesome on this. That would far outlive any pivot. So when a guy calls me, and most of the time the guys that, come out and put in a system, it isn't but a year or two later, and they're like, all right, it's time to go do the next one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Randy, how about for you? You've been in the business the longest. What do you enjoy?
Well, I enjoy we don't install it and walk away. We have a relationship with those growers that we do installs for, and there's contact with them every year or throughout the year. So I enjoy that part of it. I don't know. I got some pretty good employees that I like to hang out with and stuff like that too.
Makes it more fun.
It's challenging. It's different. It's not. I do the engineering, the design work on that, and I really enjoy doing that because it's pretty in-depth stuff, and it's fun.
It's kind of like a puzzle. You don't know what it looks like at the end. You got to draw it out right there in front of you.
Every system's different, so.
Every field's different, elevations change, there's a lot of different ways to lay these out, and he takes the input from the guys, what they want to do, and designs a personalized system just for them, so it works out well.
You guys were talking about efficiency. Let's just kind of compare. Imagine flood irrigation. Folks that are still using that would find the most savings in terms of water. What kind of efficiency are we talking about?
At the bare minimum, they're going to save probably 50% water on the average. Yeah. In a year like this around here, we did catch some rain. A lot of guys are, pumping 5 to 6 inches on average. Typical year is probably going to be closer to 9 to 10. There's some gravity farms where if you put 9 to 10 inches on it, that isn't going to get it through the rows on the very first time. So massive savings there. And, without the evaporation of a pivot, that's just kind of where that's our sweet spot, right? So, if a guy thinks he's putting on a half an inch or 3/4 with the pivot, they might be actually doing 80% of that with evaporation and the wind blowing. So it's right in the root zone. It's just where it needs to be.
You talk about the savings. Let's talk about the pricing of a new system as it compares to perhaps a pivot, as a comparison for our listeners and our viewers today. What are you looking at?
Compared to a pivot, we're right in range. We might be a little higher on the initial cost, but there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration. The insurance alone, the time savings, everybody's time's worth something. So that's another key to it. I
Acreage
think
cover the whole field.
it is. It is.
Don't have the corners that
No corners, and we can actually install this. So if a pivot does stay out there, we can still do a pivot corner. The price goes up quite a bit, just because you're going to have all the main components. You're going to have your filtration, everything you would, whether you're doing 10 acres or 100 acres of drip. So that upfront cost is there, but the turnaround and the payback on this is faster than anything else.
To me, it sounds like you want people to look, 10, 15 years down the line when looking at pricing, not just the upfront 1 year, right?
They need to. Yeah, this is something that is just going to pay back year after year. And, there are chances out there. There has been some cost share funding in the past, and that can be key to this. If it's not something you're going to rush into right away, you could fill out an application with your local NRCS, and there's a chance your field might qualify. They'd go through and rank that according to the funds they have, and there's been instances where half the project's been paid for, even the full amount. So it just depends what the actual project is, but it's worth taking a look at.
Yeah, it kind of comes and goes as far as that cost share. I mean, you can get on a list and maybe you'll have your installation in a year, or you may be on that list still. It takes a long time. It's pretty unpredictable how that works through.
Some get it and some never do. So it's up in the air.
Something you want to look at least, though.
It is.
If there's money out there, it's worth at least going through the process.
It's worth checking it out. The waiting game. Everything seems to go up over time, price-wise. So if you're kind of putting it off, waiting for that, you might get into some trouble because the cost, of everything went up. And by the time you maybe would get approved, you could have done it and already, had some return on the investment and, enjoyed your system and used it. Yeah.
Well, we've gone through kind of the process involved, but maybe at the start of this, you talked about designing the system. You're in the sales department. A farmer comes to you, says, "Yeah, let's look at doing this." What are those first 3-4 steps you'll walk through with them?
Yeah, so first thing to do is give us a call. Of course, I'll go out on the field, take a look at it. Make some key notes on what the water source is going to be, whether it's groundwater or ditch water, figure out about how many gallons a minute we're able to work with, and then, go through kind of his farming practice, decide on some of the row spacing, how much water he'd like to apply and in what time frame. And then I pass that information over to Randy, and he's lead designer on that, and he'll make a custom map for anybody, and from that point, price it out for you, and I'll bring that back, meet with you, and if there's anything you want changed, if it, doesn't suit exactly what you were thinking, we'll take that input, go back, rework it until it's something you were happy with, and put in a great system for you.
Yeah, Cole has done some design work in the past, and so he's very familiar with what information is needed and required, that I can take it from there. So.
Mm-hmm.
What excites you most about the irrigation industry, some of the new technologies you guys are seeing out there?
So automation's one thing. That's one thing on these systems. We can do it kind of a bare bones where you're just going to deal with a manual operated system. You go out, you change it every 12 hours or whatever your practice is going to be. And then there's other guys that say, I want to be able to start this from my living room, start the well, and go through all my sets and change all the zones automatically, and that can be done too. So that technology is changing all the time, so we're happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, and if you do an install and it is bare bone like what Cole is talking about, those systems can be upgraded to the current technology. So
at any point, yeah.
Yes.
What's one piece of advice you'd give a farmer when they're thinking about their water management strategies? There are always new regulations that are being considered in this space. What do you want them to know?
Sooner than later. A lot of guys went under allocations this year, and water's just becoming more precious all the time. Guys are going to be limited on how much they're going to be able to apply, and the time's running out on gravity irrigation. There's just too much runoff. Like I said, it's just too precious to do it that way. We can't be waiting a full day for water to get through on one part of the field. On a typical drip system, you're pressurized with 90 to 100% uniformity throughout the field within an hour's time. So as soon as you really start up that system, it's already doing good, putting it right in the root zone where it needs to be. And that's the biggest key to this, even compared to the pivot or gravity, of course. It's just the uniformity across the field. Once you get in there for harvest, you're seeing the same yields pushing 300 bushel corn from one end to the other, and that's something you could never duplicate with any other practice.
Yeah, and as far as water conservation goes, I mean, we've talked to plenty of growers that it takes them 2 weeks to 30 days to get across that whole field just one time. Where on drip, you could probably, depends on the size of your well, you could probably be across it in a couple of days, you know.
Yeah, we'll work with the water you have. We don't necessarily need to cut your gallons way back. If you have a 600 or 800 gallon well and you want to keep it that way and use it, that's what we're going to do. We have fields as big as 80 acres that all run in one set, and in 12 hours they might put on 30 to 40 hundreds of water. Only need to do that a couple times a week, even in peak season. So we're talking about cutting down their water time for maybe converting from gravity where they watered 5, 6, maybe 7 days a week, and we're cutting that down to a day or two. So it's pretty impressive.
Big savings for sure. We're talking subsurface drip irrigation with the guys from Western Irrigation. Your website is westernirrigation.com, right?
Yes, sir.
And if people want to call you directly,
yeah, it's
give them the phone
402.
number?
Yeah, it's 402-834-2200. That'll ring to our Hastings and our Garden City office. So you'll get a hold of somebody on either end of the line there, and we'd be happy to talk with you.
What else you want to share?
Maybe the only thing I'd say, if you got a piece of ground in mind, don't hesitate to call us. We do the estimate side of that and the preliminary design free of charge. So happy to look at anything. No high pressure sales, nothing like that. We're happy to work with you, give you an idea what you'd be looking at if you need to maybe line up some financing or any financial assistance with that. Randy's a certified designer in TSP, so if there was any assistance you were trying to get a hold of through the EQIP program, he's capable of doing that design for him. He turns in all the paperwork to the government office and gets the stamp of approval. So it's awesome to have that in house.
If you're considering doing drip irrigation at all, I mean, let's start now. Whether it's going to be 2 or 8, 10 years from now, let's start now. It's not going to hurt to, like Cole said, we do it free of charge and just get things rolling.
Yep. We can give you a bare bones cost. I mean, on average, this is running a couple $1,000s an acre, but a ton of variables go into that. Some get a heck of a lot cheaper. The more extravagant you want to get with it, if we're talking automation, it goes up from there. But you'd be surprised what you can get into a brand new drip system for. It's comparable to a pivot, and I think you'll be a lot happier, actually.
Cole, Randy, thanks for sitting down with us. It's been fun, insightful too. Learn more about irrigation practices of the past and where we're headed in the future. Thanks for your time today, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot, Bryce.